Welcome back. It's time for Media Watch, with James Creedon. James, hello.
Good evening, Nadia.
Trying to keep a tag on it there. A video showing sexual harassment in the street has gone viral on the French web. Now, this was shot with a hidden camera, is that right?
That's right. It took place in Brussels. Sophie Peters was the name of the film student who shot these pictures with a hidden camera. I think we have some of them here. We'll roll the pictures because the idea was in the neighbourhood in which she lives in Brussels, she said 5 to 10 times every day she got catcalls, insults, propositions from men, etc. And she would tell people about it and they kind of wouldn't fully believe the extent of it. So she decided to film it. Now, it has struck a chord across France too because the French media picked up on this video. Let's take a look at an extract. And now it is subtitled in French. I'll explain afterwards, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory what's going on.
Oui. Non, merci.
Un verre ensemble ou quoi?
Non, merci.
Chez moi à la maison, bien sûr, pas dans un café. L'hôtel, le lit, tu connais direct.
Vous comprenez pas? Je veux pas.
T'es sexy, tu me donnes envie, c'est normal, non?
Alors, petit fesse.
Petit fesse. Chienne. Salaud.
I gather there's been a lot of reaction online to this. That's pretty incredible stuff.
That's right. It is pretty amazing stuff. And just to show you some of the reaction on the French web, journalists are saying, this particular journalist here, Gaëlle Marie Zimmerman, says, look, a lot of the time this sort of behaviour is justified as flirting, and you get these lame excuses such as, what, I'm not allowed to flirt with you in the street, or you should be flattered, these sort of excuses. Now this journalist obviously dismisses that. Another journalist for the same website, the Nouvel Observateur's website, says, well, this time a guy says, I, astonished, discovered this phenomenon now. Now, I saw a friend posting that online saying, hold on a minute, are you the most naive person in France? How can you not know about this? This is a problem in some parts of big cities in France and elsewhere. And on Twitter as well, they're talking about it. You've got the hashtag harcèlement de rue, harassment in the street. And people, again, here saying that they didn't realise the extent, l'ampleur of this phenomenon, right? And you've lots of other tweets along the same lines. People kind of saying things like, it's been for a long time, or this particular guy's, well, there's various different people saying, one day somebody said to my back, Mademoiselle, you have lovely eyes, except it was actually a guy with a beard, so he's saying,
I've heard worse chat-up lines.
Right. And this person, I suppose, being more serious, saying, how many of us have decided to stop wearing skirts or dresses in summer in order to avoid this kind of behaviour and have peace in the street? And I think it is a lot of, I think especially Brits and Americans who come to Paris notice this sort of behaviour as something they see as particularly French, but then it seems to be in Belgium as well.
Okay, well maybe it's in London.
Yeah.
London's Mayor Boris Johnson had a moment of suspense today. Explain that to us.
All right, this is pretty extraordinary stuff. Let's take a look at this photo, right? This was in Victoria Park in London. Now, there he is, suspended mid-air in it was basically a zip line, right? And he had 2 Union Jacks in his hand. Let's roll the pictures because I think we need to see moving pictures for this one.
That's a dangerous stunt.
To appreciate the full extent of it. So it was just some sort of a stunt around the Olympics, saying he was a special guest in Victoria Park, looking particularly buffoonish and ridiculous.
With a Pratt hat.
This is it. Hard hat, 2 Union Jacks, and then he came to a grinding halt 20 metres from the end and was stuck there for 5 minutes asking people to put up, maybe a ladder to take him down. And when he was asked how he was, he said, very, very well, thank you. But I don't think he really was very well. I think he was actually really embarrassed. And as one journalist here, Pad Thompson, said, how is it possible to have one picture that sums up an entire mayoral term that, just suspended in midair, looking a bit of a buffoon?
That's pretty good. All right, let's go to a blog that isn't very flattering for French superstar Marion Cotillard.
That's right. Now, for those who have seen her latest performance in Batman, the latest Batman movie, I haven't personally seen it, but I've been assured there's a very hammy scene where she dies, or where her character dies. And inevitably, or not inevitably, but most of the time the cinema kind of starts laughing because it's just not a very credible scene. Now, I'd love to show it to you, but I couldn't actually find it. Let's take a look at this blog, right? Because it's called People Dying Like Marion Cotillard. And you've got scenes such as this guy. Can you see it here? Doing a rather hammy impression with his head kind of falling down and water spluttering out of his mouth. And this guy doing pretty much the same thing. So I think the
He just looks bored.
Right, the death scene must have been something rather dramatic and overplayed, right?
Another good reason to see Batman, perhaps.
Exactly, perhaps maybe the only reason to see it. I'm anxious to see her moment of hammy cinema in any case.
All right, it sounds like fiction, but it isn't. One French senator allegedly tried to entrap his rival with an underage prostitute. Tell us about that.
This is amazing stuff, right? This is the guy in question. His name is François Grosdidier. He's a UMP party senator in the Moselle region. Now, for 20 years, he's been having this big fight with another UMP senator, so the same political party. And there is a recording here that the Marianne website got their hands on, see it here, where he asks some sort of a guy if he could set up a honey trap to catch out his rival in Morocco with an underage girl. And so you see in this recording, or you hear in this recording, the wheeling and the dealing and the attempts to set up a honey trap in order to eliminate now, the thing is, they're in the same political party, first of all, which makes it rather extraordinary. And second of all, it's not exactly, I don't know, the head of the IMF or somebody like that, right? Where you would people...
Hey, if it works for,
This is it. I mean, lots of speculation at the time about Mr. Strauss-Kahn and nothing ever proven. But here it seems that there is almost proof that there was an attempt to entrap him.
No doubt you'll tell us if there are any consequences for him. James Breeden with Media Watch, thank you very much
Nadia.
for that. Stay tuned, it's France 24. It's time now for Web News, a roundup of what's making a buzz online.